Yeah.
Welcome, Mike, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about this huge project, Sonic Universe, this first album, It Is What It Is, and obviously more things related to the rock and metal in general. Also, and we start by asking, when do you decide to create this band, Sonic Universe?
This started back in around 2017 or 18 when I met Corey Glover. So right there, when we met on, I was playing a cruise called Shiprock, and he was as well, but in a different situation. A friend brought him over, and we met as soon as he came to watch one of my performances. We totally hit it off, and that's where it really started. We were like, oh man, we got to work together. He's one of my favorite vocalists on the planet,
Me too.
and yeah, he is probably everyone's. I mean, it's just amazing. So yeah, that's where it started, man. And gradually, we kept working. Unfortunately, we had a block of time with COVID, for years that it just wasn't possible to, or it wasn't the right time, to finish it and release it.
Okay. Well, into this aspect, so how or what was it like to to work with Corey on the compositions of this new album? Because as you mentioned, for me, since I listen him, and from Living Color, I always love his voice. It is
Oh
amazing.
my God, it's just one of those incredibly iconic voices. I'm with you from day one with Living Color. I was the biggest fan and always will be. It's great. The one great thing about working with Corey, when I'm writing the music, I'm writing it solely for him. For him, with him in mind and everything. So I'm very focused on that, which is something I really like to do, is to work and write for the vocalist that you're specifically working with in that genre or that composition. He's amazing to work with. I would always write the song and craft a full pre-production version of it. I would do drums and I would lay the guitar down, the bass, so that when he comes into the studio, I could just press play and give him a picture, a full picture of what I was thinking of with that composition of that track. Um, and I got, 9 out of 10 times by the end of the day, he's got all the lyrics and he's ready to sing. He's an incredibly fast writer, a great lyricist, and of course the vocals are just, it's just so natural. Some of them on the album are just one full takes. So it's an absolute joy to work with the guy. He's incredible in so many different ways.
Okay. No, you are with many bands like Adrenaline Mob, with a lot of well-known musicians, Nocturnal
Yes.
from Brazil, and now you are for me one of the biggest vocalists in the world is like with Sonic Universe. So
Yeah.
what do you think makes this band different compared to the with your different previous works? Can we say that it's
Sure.
still progressive metal because with Nocturnal, Adrenaline Mob, and other projects that you have, you always play something progressive. But now you
Yes.
have a little more gospel, a little more blues, because
Yeah.
even the influence from Corey since the 80s was funk.
Yeah. You hit it right on the head with everything. I'm so grateful to get to work with great musicians, and Nocturnal and Adrenaline Mob. Adrenaline Mob's my heart and soul, and Russell as well, one of the most incredible, powerful vocalists on planet Earth. And Tiago Bianchi's, Tiago's incredible as well, and has this super, high progressive metal voice, and so they're so different. With Sonic Universe, I get to do what I really always wanted to do, this style of music. I'm known for a very, exciting, let's say, style of guitar playing, and you know, fast playing and all this shredding stuff from my instrumental albums all through Adrenaline Mob and Nocturnal, but I've always been a fan of just the song. You know, I always do play for the song. But with this, it's a style I always loved. I always wanted to be that bluesy, funky soul with a little gospel. It's just, like you said, you know, hearing Corey from way back when, you know, they debuted back then, it was just, you know, it kind of just sucks you right in. So it's one of my favorite styles of performing. So I couldn't be happier to be doing this style. And I'm glad that it's different. It's different from Adrenaline Mob. It's different from Nocturnal. It's different from Sonic Stomp, my instrumental albums. You know, and that is something that's important to me. I never want to just do the same thing.
Great to know. So, speaking of vocalists, and it's interesting what you mentioned about having played with notable vocalists like Rick Russell, and now Corey, because there are few musicians who can play with this vocalist. It's not everybody can play. So,
Yeah.
so how was in this? How was you do aspects to play with these elite vocalists in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's always an honor and a pleasure. You know, I couldn't be more grateful to be, you know, working with and to call all these guys my bandmates. And you know, it's an incredible experience. You know, I'm extremely thankful. And it's just it's great when you can work with someone like Corey, where it's like I press play and he just knows exactly, you know, what I was thinking, where I was going, but he puts his stamp all over it because Corey writes all the lyrics and comes up with all the vocals and the melodies, and I do all the music. So I'm kind of the musical director, and then he comes in and just blows the damn track up and makes it incredible. You know, so, and as well as the other vocalists as well, it's great to just be able to come up with a song and a composition, and they know exactly where to go with it. You know, that's a huge benefit of performing with such great talent.
Okay. Well, abandon that. I'm speaking of this now, it is what it is. So
Yeah,
how was the composition or the writing process like for this new album? Because I heard parts in this new album that you are singing as a backing vocals.
yeah,
Obviously, you are working with different styles. I try to compare your works in the Adrenaline Mauve and Nocturnal, and for me, it's very different. You try
yeah,
you and also I hear a lot of the tales singing from Corey, like singing like the a heavy metal band because it's very curious. When I hear the funk and Living Color, the first album, he sing like more blues, rock, a little metal. But
yeah.
now I think you put a little pressure to sing like this amazing part that sings Corey.
Yeah, he has these. He comes up with these notes that only dogs could hear. That's the only way I could put it. It's so high and so incredible in some of the songs.
Mm,
The title track, "It Is What It Is."
mm.
My God, into both solo sections, he hits these notes that are in the stratosphere. I didn't, you know, it wasn't a conscious thing to, hey, you know, sing like this, because how can you ever tell Corey Glover how to sing? You know, so it's just like we kind of knew, you know, where it would go, you know, stylistically. But again, when I press play and we start writing, you know, for the song, and he starts crafting the lyrics and stuff, he knows where he's going with it. I don't have to tell him a thing, you know. Sometimes he wants to come on strong. "It Is What It Is" is a very powerful track. But then there's tracks like "Whisper to a Scream," where it's just so unbelievably soulful and passionate, and it's just the soul is oozing out of him. You know, you could hear it. So each track is different. You know,
Yes.
yeah. There's a track that I sing some background vocals. Our first single, "I Am." Yeah, again, it's just for what the song is, but the whole album has that kind of bluesy funk, but hard. There's a rock aspect of it as well, still always, you know. That's where I come in, I guess, maybe. You know.
And with these aspects that you mentioned, well, this album had one, the 10 songs that the album has, I listened completely this album. Even before we did this interview, I listened for two or three times this new album, and now I'm here. I have here the promo link for the hearing this. So it is what it is. Yes, you mentioned you have a soul life in this song. The first was
Yeah,
heavy, funk, but a lot of things. Well, for me, it's something very easy to label the band because something progressive, something funk, something soul, so this guy. But
yeah.
as you are the composer and the writing area, so how do you label the sound of the Sonic universe? I think it's
Ooh,
a difficult question.
it is that's really hard. Obviously, I always go back to, this is a rock band, but with huge elements of blues and soul and funk in there. But we're still based in rock. There's some progressive moments because the band is so talented. The drummer Taekwon Jackson is just incredible. So on tracks like "It Is What It Is," you could hear him following every note I'm doing in those solo sections or the entrances to the solo sections and at the end of the song and stuff. He's an incredibly fast drummer, but he's got this gospel feel. And he also has, because he was a gospel drummer for a long time, played in the churches, and that's where he developed that style, and that's what Corey wanted, as well as myself. But he's also in a hardcore metal band called Sworn Enemy, so he's he's got unbelievably fast feet, and he does all the real heavy hardcore stuff. So it's great to have a drummer to do everything, that can do everything. And the same with Booker King on bass. He's got a real incredible feel. You could hear it in I Am, where he's just walking that bass solo before the guitar solo kicks in. But again, it's rooted in rock. It's a rock band, but it just we have a lot of roots, and like a tree has all its roots going pretty far. I just try to tap into a lot of different stuff. They're dark tracks. Turn a Blind Eye is a very dark, heavy rock track, but with huge melodies and big vocals, and it's always about the song. For me, the song is king, you know.
Okay, okay. A detail that you mentioned about the fact that all the songs have different elements, especially for me also. So, and the people
Yeah,
like for me over for 40 years, all the it's easy to listen an album now because for I prefer to hear the album, the history, the notes, the songs.
yeah,
But now, as you can see, the new listeners, especially for the playlist, for the digital platforms, prefers to hear
yeah,
the music with the just singles and also the artificial
yeah,
intelligence doing this kind of stuff with the algorithms, etc., etc. So for you,
yeah.
songs well, I think I rephrase the question: is it possible to resume all textures and textures,
Yeah.
layers, a lot of things that this album has in just one or two songs for you, for the new
Oh,
generation,
man.
especially?
Yeah, that's hard because, like you, I am a fan of the album. I will put it on and still listen to it and just enjoy the picture, because an album is a picture of a band, what they want to say. Yeah, it's really hard to say it in one song. You try, we try. It is what it is. It's got a real great rock bounce to it in the track. The chorus has some big harmony vocals in it. The solos sections are insane playing wise. Just a little bit of craziness there, and but still, it's got a great melody, and it kind of gets your head bopping. I would hope we try to put as many aspects as we can in each song. But a track like "I Am," that's a blues rock song. You can't veer far from that. It is what it is. No
It
pun
is.
intended.
Yeah,
And
yes.
yeah, you just try to. I always still, again, for me, I try to stay with what the song needs. A track like "Higher" is like a gospel style feel. It's got that shuffle, and when the chorus kicks in, I always envision this choir, women's choir, singing higher. So yeah, we try to put as much as we can, but it's really hard to do everything in one song.
Well, yeah, that is well, for us it's very hard. Well, for the new
Yeah,
people it's very more easy, this kind of stuff. So, well,
yeah,
relating to the promotion of this, it is what it is. What kind of plans
yeah,
do you have to promote this new album? Well, obviously, with a busy stuff that you have, and also Curry has, it's sometimes very
yeah.
difficult to gather all band to do a full tour.
Yes, and we definitely want to do a full tour. We want to do multiple full tours if we can. We just have to be respectful of, obviously, Living Color is out there on the road for the last 5 months, and they still have more to come. So, they're killing it, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
I'm such a huge fan of theirs. But yeah, so we have to work around their schedule and my schedule as well. But we absolutely want to take it to the road and take it all over the world. Um, of course we do. I've never was into the word project. I don't feel, this is a band, this is our album, and we're going to do everything we can to get out there. There's a lot of stuff coming promo wise, guitar playthroughs, a lot of guitar videos coming, drum playthroughs going through the song, more videos to come. So we're just going to do everything we can, and when we can hit the road, we're going to hit that road.
Mm, okay, okay. Well, now, as I mentioned a few seconds, well, a few minutes ago, is that we're talking about now the artificial intelligence, especially for the streaming service and algorithms, this kind of stuff. So
Sure.
obviously, now is the particularly like the rise up of this kind of all this technology around the world. So
Yeah.
in this aspect, perhaps do you see yourself using artificial intelligence in your music or creative process in the future for for perhaps for your solo project?
I know it's a great thing, and it seems helpful in different aspects of creating any kind of situation. For myself, I don't think I would be interested in it, just because the way I sit down and write a song is just from what I'm feeling, and what I'm thinking at that moment, and I don't really want something else to kind of drive me somewhere. I'm strange when I come to music and I start writing, or I'm in that mode. I don't even listen to other music when I'm doing it. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to hear something else and then, be writing at the same time. I kind of just want to let my mind wander and take over and just take me where it goes. So, but hey, is it helpful for some people? I'm sure it's a crazy technology. I'm just not sure I'm that, crazy about it yet, but hey, you never know.
Oh, interesting to know. So, like I said, you were in well-known bands, well-known musicians playing. But the time has come to say goodbye to some of them. Adrenaline, Nocturnal, etc. So, what for you? What are the reasons at that time to leave the band, to end the band? Because Adrenaline is no longer anymore in the world. You decide to retire from Nocturnal, and now you create this Sonic Universe and obviously more
Yeah.
projects. So, in which part of your life
Well,
do you feel that is the time to leave the band?
unfortunately, Adrenaline Mob wasn't something that I left. It was just the most horrible circumstances, and you know, with our fatal accident that we were in, that it was just something that we couldn't come back from. But I would, in a heartbeat. Adrenaline Mob's my heart and soul, so I would do it in a heartbeat. So that wasn't something that I walked away from. I can't walk away because it's me, it's my music, it's my heart, it's my soul. And Adrenaline Mob, you know, is that certain thing with Russell, and it was such an honor with Portnoy and Boyer and everybody in it, and AJ. Nocturnal, I'm actually still performing with Nocturnal. So
Oh,
I'm actually going to Brazil in 2 weeks to do Summer Breeze and another festival and a TV show. I had written their last album with Tiago, called Cosmic
wow.
Redemption, and it's out now, and it just came out in Japan, and it's coming out in all parts of the world. So with the issue with Nocturnal is that I can't always tour with them, because especially last year, I'm creating so much stuff and I have to be respectful to the albums I'm making. So they had done some tours by themselves, but I love those guys, and yeah, I'm heading on the road in 2 weeks with them. So it's just
Okay.
that it's hard to be a full-time member, me being in the United States and them being in Brazil. And I've performed with them on and off for 9 years now, since 2015, and it's great. I love those guys, so I'll always do whatever I can with them, if it works out.
Okay, okay. Well, into your career as a musician, a few days ago, well, during this week, I saw the big news that you are will playing with John Bush, all again, obviously, with well-known musicians in the metal world. So
Yeah.
it's normally with your career. So, in which part do you decide to play with these well-known musicians, and what kind of music will we expect with this new form, will line up?
Yeah. Thankfully, it's a totally different thing, totally different music than Sonic Universe. As you know, I do not like to do stuff that's the same. It's I just feel it's not respectful to the each band and that style of stuff. Both of these projects, which I hate to say as well, started, very similar ways and similar, not similar times, but yeah, I mean, I could not be more honored and excited to be working with John and Phil, Jason, and Jack. Um, but again, veering back, I'm equally, as excited and on cloud nine to be in a band with Corey Glover, doing Sonic Universe. So thankfully for me, they're so different. And, one is real hard rock, real hard rock and metal. And Sonic Universe is just so different. And like we said, rock, blues, funk. So I feel it's like two different worlds. And,
Well,
I'm just excited and grateful to always be doing, to be doing them. And it's going to be quite a ride.
and okay, and why decide to call the band Category 7? But because curious name, Category 7. And always by the inside of this, again, you are playing with John Bush, a different vocalist in the world, a unique vocalist in the world.
One of the best in the world. Yeah, as far as vocalist and a person as well. Just unbelievable. As is everyone in the band. And, it's like feel like I've known them for 30 years. These guys. It's a powerful name. Category 7 is something that, if a storm that, God forbid, if hit the earth, would level it. It's just a massively powerful storm. So we felt it was fitting for the music. It's a real powerful, punch you in the gut type of music. So
Okay, something like the earthquake, like Category 7 earthquake. Okay.
it's like everything, tsunamis, and it's just
Okay.
like that.
All right. All right. Yeah. All right. Like
Like
tsunamis.
a massively powerful storm. But I'm not sure exactly what. I think it's just it would encompass everything, that storm. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, okay. So we're very close to doing this interview, Mike, and for this aspect,
Okay.
as I mentioned it, talking about other kind of stuff, other kind of stuff. No, we spoke about your career, the band, the interventions, a lot of things. But now, as you can see, now the world is where we have a lot of productions coming each weekend, especially Fridays. For the bank and Fridays, we have released. We can see a lot of releases, 20, 50 releases per week.
Yeah.
That's too
Yeah.
much in general for the rock, metal. I don't
Yeah.
know, a lot of styles. So, and for this, what's your opinion about this aspect to release a lot of music during the weekends? Is good or is bad for the scenes? Because I spoke with a lot of well-known musicians, and they told me that
Yeah.
in some ways it's too saturated because you don't have too much time to hear a lot of 50 releases per week. It's very difficult. It's impossible. And at the
I
same
agree.
time, other musicians, it's a good thing It's a good thing to see a lot of releases.
Um, I'm gonna go with your first, opinion of what you heard. I don't think it's, how can I say this? I like to take music in. Companies, labels, or put out a band single every 3 or 4 weeks, and then the next one comes out, and the next one. I feel that the listener should live with it more, even with singles. I'm not a fan of that many albums coming out at once. I definitely would like it more spaced out, but that's the way of the world now. We can't stop it. It's just as the unfortunateness about streaming and everything. There's nothing you can do. That's the way of the world now. I'm not a fan of it. I think it should be more spaced out, and it gives each album and each band a little more, level playing ground to for fans of music to take it in, and not like listen to 30 seconds and then go to the next one, the next one, the next one. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. So I don't think it's I think it's out of our hands at this point.
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Okay, okay. So, as you have your own studio, you record bands, you record musicians in your own studio. So, what do
Yep.
you ask of bands to have a good production? Because many people thinks that a good production is to sound oversaturated, especially for deathcore bands of this kind of stuff. But other people try to sound more organic. I remember that I spoke with a well-known producers, and some bands tries to record in one rehearsal room all songs in just one take
Yeah.
or two takes, but it's different. So in your point of view as a producer, as a record engineering, so what is the
Yeah.
best option to record music nowadays?
I mean, I've done both. I've done having not only my bands, but yet here in my studio, I've always have, clients all throughout the year. Um, I've done the bands doing it all at one time. I've done separate. I've done just mixing and editing bands stuff that they've sent me, and I didn't even do. But mostly as a producer, I don't feel it has to be a band in the room, all together at one point. It's great if we could do that. Of course, you want that, but as long as there's a core element of maybe either two of the five guys come in or three of the five guys come in, well, you know what I'm saying, and lay the tracks down. There's still that connection, that human connection. Behind me is my drum room, down the hallway is the vocal room, and they're together, but they're performing. I've done that with our albums here with even Omerta and Coverta with Mike Portnoy, where me and him would just lay tracks down, and Russell would be singing along. As a producer, I go with what I can get out of them at that time, whether it's the whole band or not. My biggest thing as a producer, I just say to the guys, just trust me. I always say to musicians, let yourself be produced, meaning just be open to some ideas, because I'm only going to try to pull the best out of you. It's only going to reflect on them. Usually no one knows who mixes and produces and masters the albums anymore. It's not like the old days where there were credits and you open up things. Most people, don't even know that I've mixed, the Adrenaline Mob albums, and I'm a mastering engineer, and all this stuff, and all the albums I do. So it doesn't reflect on me. So I always ask the musician, let yourself be produced. Trust me, I got your back. I'm here to make you sound great, not me, because mostly no one's going to know, who did it behind the scenes. So as long as they're open to it, as far as the production and the sound, yeah, I mean, you always wanted to give a nice, big, powerful sound, but I like organic as well. Depends on the project, depends on the band and their music.
Hmm.
With Sonic Universe, it has an organic feel to it. really has it's not this overblown production as some bands do, but it still punches you in the face and has a great produced quality, just in a different way.
Okay, okay. Well, Mike, the sad times arrived at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. I love this new record. I did my pre-order. I hope arrives, well, next month we will arrive, so I hope arrives soon. So it's a great album, and we will do the review and well, in coming weeks. So perhaps do you
Great.
want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metalerium followers?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for having me on this interview, and I had a great time. Thank you for the listeners. I hope that they get out and listen to Sonic Universe. It is what it is. I'm extremely proud of the album. Miss everybody there, and I want to come over and tour again. Absolutely love going overseas. The fans are just so passionate and just filled with heart and fire. So I hope everyone enjoys it, and just thank you for listening. I can't wait to come back for sure.